As I sat outside a Malibu cafe organizing my notes for this podcast, I watched people come and go. I saw every type of person, every age, and I saw a whole slew of pain, insecurities, wounding, and unworthiness. Well, how did you see that, you might say? I love to sit and observe people sometimes when I'm alone, sense their energy, watch their actions, find compassion. I saw everything from bullying between some young men to a woman making judgmental comments on everyone that walked by, and a man who ignored his wife and ogled every woman around them. There was so much going on, and so much of it was not self-love. I found it so interesting to be preparing this for you in an environment that so perfectly represented the current energy and ancestral wounds of our world right now. There's so much love needed. It was an onslaught of perfect examples of the need for self-love. Let's talk about this a bit today. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Alchemy of Manifestation podcast. I'm Jen Tammy at the Wheelhouse Project, and we are going to talk about how that sweet heart of yours is going to help you create the life of your dreams. The thing we're most often missing in our lives that is really essential is our own love and support. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. We are very much conditioned to feel unworthy of love in our world and to go searching for it outside of ourselves. We watch our parents do it too, and because they aren't able to love themselves unconditionally, they can never really love us in an unconditional way. It's because one generation passes along the wounding of the last if it's never healed. And most likely your parents were never able to heal their own wounds. There's a new awareness in our world now, though, around it. An awareness that we all need to heal ourselves and to change this pattern and to create the life we truly desire and deserve. So in healing ourselves and unearthing the wounds and the old generational beliefs, we learn to love and accept ourselves as we are. We learn to have compassion for ourselves and what was imposed on us and for what the previous generations couldn't give us. And ideally, we learn to parent ourselves in the unconditionally loving way that we needed all along, because that is what we desire and deserve. When we can make our way to this place of deep, unconditional self-love, it is life-changing. It is as if you had the ideal childhood you could only dream of because you're giving it to yourself as an adult. You're loving and caring for yourself in the most beautiful and amazing ways. The beauty of it all, too, is once you reach this place, on some level at least, you can see why the world is suffering. You can see why your parents and others are the way they are. They are still in that place of struggle, of wounding, of pain and suffering. They could only give you what they knew. As I observe the world around me from this place, I have a newfound compassion and understanding. I always try to remember that people in fear, anger, sadness, anxiety, and anything that is not love, they are in struggle. They have not found their way to healing and to love. And I try to have patience with them, or at least not to take any of it personally. Not always an easy task, but allowing yourself to step back and observe things and see the bigger picture helps. So let's talk about what self-love is. Self-love in our world right now is truly essential. In a world where there's so much fear and pain, we need to buoy ourselves. We need to have our own inner core of love that keeps us afloat and allow us to spread love to a world that is suffering. Because even if we are the most loving and kind people, self-sacrificing and giving of ourselves without having our own core of self-love, we are still in a place of suffering, of lack mentality and unworthiness. You are giving without asking for anything in return. It's an underlying belief that you aren't worthy of your own love or anyone else's. Or you believe that you have to work for the love of others. Regardless, though, no one can fill you up with unconditional love the only way that you can. Where do you start with self-love? Well, likely you've already started in some way because you're here, right? Not just listening to this, but interested in this topic. Besides, we all have to love ourselves to some extent, or really, we wouldn't be living. You have to fight to be alive every single day, and you're fighting. But what about thriving? How do you get to thriving? Loving ourselves deeply and loving our lives, that means taking it deeper. That's when you become the loving parent to yourself on every level and really take care of yourself out of deep love and respect for yourself, for your soul, and this human vessel that carries you through this lifetime. It's about finding your inner worthiness, discovering who you are at the deepest levels, knowing what you love, desire, dream of, and what you're passionate about, and honoring all of that in every area of your life, to the point where you honor yourself above all, not in a selfish way, but in a self-respectful and non-self-sacrificing way, where you follow your own heart, your own needs, and your own desires. And when things align with that, you bring them into your life. People, places, opportunities, work, play, you'll know it when you feel it. Self-love really encompasses the 4 areas of body, mind, heart, and soul. We need to love ourselves and fill ourselves up in all 4 areas. So how might this look ideally? For the body, it means taking loving care of that human vessel that carries you through life. That means giving it more than just a fighting chance to carry you through life and all that you have to do and be and experience here. It means showing it true appreciation and respect with your treatment of it. Thinking about what you're taking in and how it affects your body and your health. Making sure to do the very best things for your health. From the food and drink you take in, to the exercise you do, your hygiene, and general maintenance and upkeep, like dental cleanings and preventative measures. Do everything you can in your power and your means to take care of your body. Don't take it for granted. Respect the body and appreciate this beautiful vessel that is taking you through this amazing human experience. And by all means, pay attention when it's talking to you. Illness, ailments, or disease can be a distress signal from the body, signaling that something is out of alignment in your life. The longer you ignore the body's distress signals, the worse the issues could become. So take care of it, pay attention to it, and go beyond the physical to see what could be bothering it too. For the mind, it's important to find your way to a generally healthy, positive outlook in life. We need to learn to manage our minds and not let our minds manage us. Because our subconscious mind is filled with all those old beliefs and fears that were ingrained in us. We need to learn awareness. We need to establish new beliefs as well. We need to find our own positive mental space. That may look like therapy or hypnotherapy, reading, exploring your interests through learning and education, taking quiet breaks to calm your mind, and even to have more alone time or outlets like walks in nature when your mind gets overwhelmed and anxiety sets in. It's often about finding our own space and balance, and then our own effective ways to calm our own minds and even heal our minds, to come back to a peaceful and loving place mentally, and really to establish new beliefs and ways of managing our own thoughts, because the old ways of being and old fears and wounded thinking will come up again and again, and we need to love ourselves through it. For the heart, it's about finding our joy. It's about passion. It's about happiness and what makes your heart happy. This is about knowing yourself more deeply and aligning with your heart. That is discovering what you love and doing more of that. Being with people who light up your heart, doing work you're passionate about, and spending your free time doing things that bring you joy, whether that's mountain biking, traveling, or sipping coffee at a quiet cafe. Only you know what you love. It's about filling your life with everything and everyone that lights up your heart more and more. You will know it when you feel it because it will all make you so happy. For the soul, it's our deep divine connection, our calling and purpose, and reconnecting with who we really are, a beautiful, loving soul with a mission. It really takes us connecting with that spiritual side of ourselves, though, of seeing ourselves beyond the human body, beyond the earthly realm. Because we came from the divine. We came from a higher energy, a higher plane, and we need to reconnect with that. If nothing else, to help you understand more deeply why you're here and to see the bigger picture. But truly, it will take you back to love, back to your loving creator who is always watching over you, always loving you, and always caring for you. Self-love is very much a journey for us, through not just this lifetime, but many lifetimes. learning to love and accept ourselves in all ways, to stop feeling so inadequate, embarrassed, unworthy, imperfect, shameful, and not enough. It's rather comical, really, when you start to understand the big picture, that every aspect of who you are and your life plan was meant to grow your soul. You were given all these challenges, all the pain, all these perceived mistakes and regrets, and even imperfect bodies for a reason. It's part of your journey back to love, back to loving yourself despite it all. Seeing the beauty in our imperfections, compassion for our struggles, and patience with trying to better ourselves. Eventually, as you grow on this journey, you see the beauty in who you are. You love knowing yourself and feel blessed in how far you've come. Because as we heal and come back to ourselves, we unearth the beautiful soul within the fragile human body who is so magical, such pure love. And we realize that this is the point to life, to find our way back to love, to our beautiful soul and our heart, which is pure divine love, starting with ourselves. Truly, though, no one really knows themselves. Self-love is a journey back to your beautiful heart. You know who you've been molded into by society, by your family, by your friends, and the world around you. Beliefs, limitations, judgment, wounding, and that is where you form your own beliefs around the world, around yourself, and around what is possible and what you should expect. But it changes you, and when you wake up to it, you will want to find your way back. You'll want to shake it all off and find your real self. Who are you really? What makes you happy? What lights up your heart? And is your heart even open to life? Or did you shut it down? There's usually a parallel journey of healing that happens as well, as I mentioned before, because we need to unearth our beautiful heart to allow it to love again. Yes, even ourselves, and especially ourselves. When you can find healing for yourself, compassion for yourself, and kindness for yourself in all ways and all areas of your life, you'll be able to take all that beautiful love and give it to others as well, without sacrificing yourself. You'll be able to look at the world with compassion and kindness through the eyes of love. You will be able to love others unconditionally with acceptance and patience. You'll be able to see the bigger picture. You won't take things personally, knowing that others are often reacting from their own wounds, fears, and insecurities. You will be in tune with your heart. You will be led by the divine guidance you're receiving, and you will be more peaceful in yourself and in your life. Another parallel journey you'll be on with your journey of self-love is finding your faith, reconnecting with your divine creator and your own divine team, realizing that you are never alone. You're always being supported, guided, loved, and led forward. And you begin to build that relationship, that trust, that faith, because the divine proves to you again and again in undeniable ways that they've got you. The more open you are to the guidance, the more clear and consistent it will be. Or at least I should say, the more you'll notice it. It's likely happening and you're bulldozing right past it, totally oblivious. Been there, done that. So how do you make that connection? You ask for it. You watch for it. You let your divine team know that you will listen. You will follow in faith. You will surrender control because you need to. You don't actually know better. We like to think we do, though. They know our life plan, though, and they will keep us on path, even when the path doesn't look like where you thought you were going. You have to allow yourself to be guided and to do so in trust. That is part of your journey back to the divine. Yes, you have free will, of course, and you should trust your intuition, but just make sure it's not your mind talking you out of or into things based on those old fears, beliefs, and past wounds. I remember one time of showing a very spiritual friend some entries in my journal that I wrote, but that I didn't write, if you know what I mean. They didn't come from me. They were actually written to me in my own handwriting. Well, to some, it may have been clear that I was channeling. I doubted it, of course. Who am I to channel? But not only did my friend see it and tell me outright that it was channeled, but as she did, there was a big light in the corner of my room that appeared briefly that both of us saw. It was very blatant confirmation from the divine. They like to do that sometimes and make our jaws drop. Things we can't explain, undeniable. I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about. Things you may not even feel comfortable telling others because they might think you're crazy. But you're not, though. The divine can do anything I've seen a lot of things I can't explain, and that's the beauty and the perfection of it. It takes us back to the magic of it all, that we aren't just humans, that we are spiritual beings surrounded by other spiritual beings who are here for us, helping us on this journey of growth and love. It's amazing when you find your way back to your connection with spiritual beings on the other side. You realize that you're never alone. You're constantly watched over, and you're always loved unconditionally. Self-love is such a beautiful and yet challenging journey. When you can embrace this journey and all that it entails, you will find your way back to the beautiful, divine love in your own heart. A love that will fill you up and bring you clarity, peace, joy, and magic. There is nothing like a heart full of love to magnetize the most amazing life, mission, purpose, and true happiness to you. Kindness and compassion for the world. Because when you're grounded in self-love to your core, nothing can rock your boat. You will find balance, you will see the bigger picture, and you will have true compassion for where everyone is at on their journey. I wish you the most insightful, healing, inspiring, beautiful journey to find your own deep, unconditional self-love, sweet souls. Thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and check out all of our other resources, videos, blogs, and more at thewheelhouseproject.com. Remember to sign up for our email list while you're there. And also check us out at The Wheelhouse Project on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest.